Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down the NCAA championships for men's 100 meter and 200 meter. I'm going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so this ended up being a great day. I mean, it was yesterday for Joseph Fahnbulleh. He ended up winning the 100 meter and 200 meter. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you already know that. And so we're gonna go ahead and break it down a little bit here, going into really the start. And one of the things that was interesting and somebody that was a big potential favorite that was gonna do a lot better is Michael Williams here. Michael Williams, and we have Matthew Bowling all the way over onto the side. So it was a pretty good field, honestly, for the 100 meters. A lot of guys had personal bests that were under 10:1, right? So that ends up almost seeming like that's the new gold standard when it comes to sprinting. Is you got to be in that sub 10:1 area. And so when we go in and take a look here, we can see, I mean, really everybody had a pretty good reaction. Everybody's about the same with that reaction. With the start, there's a lot of variations that we're seeing. We know with Michael Williams, he ends up being somebody that has really shown to have an explosive start and has done really well in the past this season. He ran sub 9.9, I want to say it was 9.86 earlier on in the year. And it stood out to me with his start is he actually ended up getting those hips a little bit back behind. He ended up kind of struggling a little bit more with those starts, staying pretty low for a long time, right? Where we could see a couple other guys, like here we have the hips coming up a little bit more effectively, right? And that ends up being good. Here we have the hips coming up more effectively. Okay, so when you end up getting those hips too far back behind, and obviously Joseph Fahnbulleh, I mean, with his start, he just basically just pops right up and just tries to get his hips up into the air as much as he can. So as he works on his flexibility and things like that, it should end up helping him creating more horizontal force. But then when we get closer to the top speed, we can really see, time and time again what separates Joseph Fahnbulleh, which is his ability to really swing that leg through, get that toe really far up into the sky, and then be able to use that lower body to be able to generate a ton of force down into the ground. That's what really makes it so he's able to catch all these guys, is you can see how well he's able to get those toes up and through, right? So you can see, like these two guys here, how clearly and more effectively Fahnbulleh is able to get those toes all the way up and then strike down into the ground and really maintain a very upward position. This is what's making it so he's able to catch everybody so easily, is because he is, it's not that he's the tallest, right? But he uses all of his height, he uses all of his strength, he uses all of his lower body strength, and really is able to maintain a high level turnover while doing that. And so if you really want to be able to get a great top end speed, a lot of what Joseph Fahnbulleh does are the things that you want to be able to build and train and understand in order to really run a great race. Okay, and with the 200 here, we can see this is a good angle to be able to see, guys that are just getting their feet too high too early, right? And really, when it comes to the start, the better you can kind of maintain your turnover, especially for the first 5-7 steps, getting your feet out in front, getting those hips up and through, it really makes a big difference, right? Because then once you start to get upright, now you're not really in a position to build any more top speed. Now you're just utilizing all of the mechanics that you utilized when you were first starting, right? So when you see even somebody like Fahnbulleh, even though he really pops up a good amount with his body, he still does a good job, and you can't see as good with the view from the start, but he still does a good job of keeping his feet low, right? It's not like he's driving his feet up behind him early on, right? He waits till the end to be able to really get those. Let me go down a little bit here. To be able to really get his feet high and really be able to increase that entire cycle. Okay, and so you want to be able to do that same type of thing with the 200, and with the 200, I almost feel like it's more important to be able to get some good quality distance per step, right? So you do want to be able to really maximize that horizontal force. And again, when we watch this here, and we'll go in, and because we could see so much better where Fahnbulleh is in terms of how he's hitting the ground, right? So he's hitting the ground here at, let's get this up, 0.88, so 388. I mean, he's going to be off the ground by the 9. So, and then he's off the ground by about 0.96.
Okay, so he's at 0.08 foot contact time. Okay, we'll just break down these numbers here. Cycling through and hitting it about 3.4, I would say. Okay, so it's a little bit long, right? 0.38, that's a pretty long transition time. Let's take a look at his right side. Usually with these longer races, we will see these numbers increase a little bit. He's going to land, I'm going to use the other side here, 4.61. Okay, and then it's off by 7.1. So again, he's a little bit longer with that step. Yep, 6.1 to 7.1. Okay, and then he cycles back through and hits back down at about 0.1, right? So he's closer to like 0.5 there on his, 0.4, it was 7.1. Right, he's at 0.4 with his turnover speed, right? How fast his legs are moving, which again, that is kind of long, right? We can, or we've seen guys that are able to do faster, right? That are taller, Usain Bolt being the main one. Okay, and that'll end up being the main difference, right? To me, this sets him up with a ton of potential for, and let's compare that actually to the 100 here. So he lands here on the left, okay, he's at 3.7. Okay, this was the longer one. Can't see it 100%, but looks like he's off by about 0.46, so he's at about 0.09. Okay, and then he's cycling the leg through and lands at 8.4. Okay, so his turnover for that is closer to 2.38. Okay, so he's a little bit faster when he's doing the 100 in comparison to when he's doing the 200 and cycling his legs. But at the end of the day, the main thing that we want to be able to look at and see and recognize is that really he can increase that turnover speed. So the closer that he gets to 0.36, maybe even 0.37, especially, if that left leg can really increase how fast he's turn that leg over, right? And that's going to be core development. It's going to be continuing to strengthen the upper hamstrings, the glutes, things like that. The faster he's able to do that, the better that he's able to do that, then he should be able to continue to get faster within his overall time. So it's going to be hard for him to really get a lower foot contact time, especially with how big he is or how tall he is, right? The combination of both how big he is and how tall he is. His foot contact time is great with those, understanding how big and tall he is. So the main thing will be how well can he increase his turnover, and the better that he's able to do that while maintaining distance per step, then I think he'll be able to get into those mid nines, right, and also potentially into getting into the lower 19s. Okay, and obviously this is also going to be with his start too, getting closer to the nines. We need to be able to increase that start as well. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the information, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. And yeah, check out some of the programs. The big thing that I've been talking a lot about is the Faster 40, just because a lot of guys right now are going through the camps and going to all the different colleges are having a lot of camps right now. And so, nobody wants to go to a camp, or especially if you're a defensive back, running back, receiver, something like that, you don't want to go to one of these camps and run a 4.9, because then that really sets you back in terms of your recruiting. You want to be able to really get interest from colleges, especially if you're like a sophomore or junior, because now that gives you the opportunity to have another season to be able to really showcase some of your skills. So if you go there, and really for a lot of you guys, if you just even can run a 4.6 based off of size and height and things like that, that will really give you a great opportunity to be able to get noticed. But I get people that reach out all the time that are looking to get form coaching or technique coaching and want me to look at videos and stuff like that. And it's like, I try to be able to spend the most amount of time as I can being able to maximize the results for the people that are either in the program that I'm working with, or even trying to be able to build my business to a higher degree. So I don't have a lot of time to be able to just go through and look at random people's forms. So I don't do that really at all. Maybe if you're interested in the program, we could hop on a Zoom or something like that. But I'm not going to just go in and analyze somebody's running form just randomly, right? And so get in the program, right? That would be my recommendation: is commit to yourself, commit to your future, make it so you can help yourself get better, and then we could talk about being able to help you and being able to actually improve your technique. But if you have no commitment, then it's hard for me to be able to truly commit to you and to your results. So once you show commitment, then it's a lot easier for me, and then I have time to be able to dedicate to that, right? So I have certain time that I dedicate to doing breakdowns, doing videos, things like that. So again, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Questions, comments, or recommendations, leave those down below. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.